We're going to keep things moving this afternoon, jump around a little bit, and we're going to now hear a lightning conversation around the state of global education to hear, what we should know in a quick 5 minutes with Patrick Awuah and Wendy Kopp. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. This is Patrick Awuah. I'm the founder and president of Ashesi University in Ghana. And I'm here with Wendy Kopp, who is the CEO and co-founder of Teach for All. And this is we're just going to have a conversation, right, Wendy? So the two of us actually are two organizations, both believe that leadership development is really critical to development, certainly in Africa, but also around the world. And I'd like you to just spend a minute or so to just share Teach for All's model and how you develop leaders to start the conversation.
Sure. Thank you, Patrick. Well, Teach for All is a network of independent, locally led organizations now in 56 countries, including 8 in sub-Saharan Africa, who each share the purpose of developing collective leadership to ensure all children fulfill their potential. What brings us all together is an understanding that the fact that the circumstances of kids' birth predict their outcomes is a very complex, big systemic problem. And it's one that requires leadership at every level of the education system, at every level of policy and across sectors, if we're actually going to ultimately have the kind of equitable system that we need around kids. And so each of these organizations contributes to that collective leadership by calling upon some of the most promising leaders in their countries, asking them to commit 2 years to teach in high need communities, investing in their development, and then supporting them as they exert leadership from classrooms, as school leaders, as they move into their ministries, launch social enterprises, become civic leaders, and work collaboratively with many others in their countries, with students, families, other educators, in pursuit of the systemic changes we need.
All right. Well, so at Ashesi, we do something similar, right? We have this idea that our students are going to be the future leaders of Africa. And specifically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to educate citizen leaders, right? So people who really take the role of citizenship really seriously in whatever they do, in that they care about the public good, that they're problem solvers, they connect with each other, they connect with other people, and they listen, and so on. And we've been doing this for 18 years now with really good results. 3 years ago, we started a project to share what we do with other universities in Africa, right? And 3 years ago, we had 29 universities that joined us in this initiative. We call it the Education Collaborative. This year, during a crisis, that number jumped to 144. And so we have these workshops going on online, and 144 universities around the continent working together in navigating this challenge, but also navigating just the core of what a university is supposed to do, right? It's very interesting. What have you found about your work in this during this crisis? Have there been any surprises?
That resonates.
What has surprised you the most?
Yeah, what you just shared, Patrick, is exactly what we've seen across our network. I mean, as I shared, it's, we believe so deeply in the power of local leadership, but what we've seen in this era and even previously, but is that when those local leaders are globally informed, meaning when they have access to understanding what's happening in other places, they move a lot faster. And so within, almost minutes of so many of the world's schools being shut down, we had well over 1,000 teachers in Teaching Without Internet WhatsApp groups sharing solutions. We now have whole communities of practice among all of the alumni of these organizations who are delivering lessons via radio and TV, who are sharing strategies around how do we actually do this effectively so that we know kids are learning. So we've just seen everything we've come to see over the last decade of our work has just been accelerated in front of our eyes in this pandemic. We've seen both the power. I mean, when schools are shut down, we talk so much about a digital divide, but what we've seen is that really what we have most is a leadership divide. Either kids had access to teachers, school leaders, parents who were ready to do whatever it took to keep them learning, irrespective of whether they had access to technology or not, or they didn't. And no matter what level of access to technology you had, that was the biggest determinant of whether you could keep learning.
Right. So we're going to continue this conversation, of course, tomorrow and at the Africa Summit in November. And I look forward to having more people join us in that conversation. Thanks a lot, Wendy.
Thank you so much.